Hello, everyone, and welcome to Coffee with Innovate Finance, our podcast series where we speak to industry leaders on financial innovation and fintech. Our podcasts are available on Spotify, Apple Music, and Google Podcasts. I'm Veronica Glab, Head of Engagement at Innovate Finance, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Matt Parish, Group Product Manager at Truelayer. Matt, thank you for joining us.
Delighted to be here. Thank you.
Great. Well, let's kick off. Matt, can you tell me a little bit more about your background? And I have to be honest, I did do a little bit of Twitter stalking and saw a lot of different flag emojis. So please let us know where you come from and where you're going.
Interesting. That's the first time anyone's ever looked at my Twitter profile before a podcast. But yes, so my name is Matt Parish. I'm a group product manager at Truelayer. I've been at Truelayer for just over 3 years now, and I've been working on kind of open banking and our products related to the UK for that time. Before I joined Truelayer, I worked for a management consultancy called Capco. And while I was at Capco, I worked in particular at Metal, which is NatWest's startup challenger bank in the business space. Before I joined Capco, I was at university. Capco was my first job out of university. And I grew up in all of those different countries around the world. So I was born in Nairobi, then the Czech Republic, moved back to the UK, and have been around and about the world as a child growing up. So I come from quite a cosmopolitan, international family and background.
You definitely fit into the diverse community at Innovate Finance. I think quite a few of us on the team speak a number of different languages. So sounds like you're a great fit for Innovate Finance. Now, can you tell us a little bit about the original idea behind Truelayer and the company's mission?
So the original idea around Truelayer was very much focused on PSD2 and the open banking competition remedy in the UK. Fra and Luca are long-time entrepreneurs. Fra and Luca are the CEO, CTO, and co-founders of Truelayer. And they were working in the US and looking at the kind of regulatory environment around open banking in the world and seeing a general trend towards open banking being the future of finance. And Luca was lucky enough to be an early engineer at Plaid at the time. And they were thinking about, where's the future of the company going and what is the future of this regulation looking like? And they saw in 2016 the origination of PSD2 and the original open banking competition remedy happening in the UK. So they decided to up sticks from San Francisco, move to the UK, and start a company that very much focused on open banking data and open banking payments, and focusing on everything related to making payments easier and increasing competition in retail banking. The original kind of focus of the company was very much on data. So our first large customers were Emma, Plum, and kind of the account aggregation type use cases. And over the last few years, and kind of particularly since I've joined, we've very much oriented around payments and opening up finance, making payments easier. So today at a company, our vision and mission is very much oriented around opening up finance and making payments easier. And we're really trying to solve pain points in payments to enable businesses in the UK and around Europe to make account-to-account payments in a more streamlined and successful and simple way.
And Truelayer's been around since 2016. So as you look back on that growth journey, what were your challenges when the company was initially founded, and how would you say they're different from the challenges you face now?
So I wasn't around specifically when the company was founded. I joined sort of 3 years in, but I can kind of talk to a few things that I've seen in the experiences I've had. And so the initial challenges that we kind of had as a fledgling company we're very much oriented around like, how do we operate this highly available, incredibly important data API that sits at the core of everything that our customers do. Because, when you look at the two core capabilities that we have in data and payments, one of the key differences is in data products, all of our customers are incredibly reliant on our API for the entire existence of their business, right? So if Truelayer goes down, those businesses go down as well. Or if Truelayer makes a mistake, those businesses have a critical problem in their systems.
Of course.
And on the payment side, we're an alternative payment method. So if our payment method goes down, often there's an alternative payment method like cards that a consumer can use to replace us. So the challenges we faced when we were starting out were very much oriented around how do we provide a really scalable and available and open service that is the bedrock of a huge number of different companies. With payments, we still have that challenge because it's incredibly important for your payments provider to be highly, highly, highly available. But we're also trying to educate consumers and bring them over and talk to them about how amazing account-to-account payments are. Because, over the last couple of years, we've seen card payments getting harder and harder for consumers to make. And it's a good thing that they're getting harder to make because it's adding layers of security with, 3D Secure 2.0 and strong customer authentication. Open banking account-to-account payments have the concept of two-factor authentication built in from the ground up. So if you want to make a payment with an incredibly simple version of two-factor authentication, you should make an account-to-account payment, an open banking payment. And educating consumers to use that and to think about account-to-account payments as an option in the checkout is one of the key challenges that we're facing now.
And how do you differentiate from other firms and platforms?
We really try to differentiate ourselves based on the support services that we provide around the outside of open banking. So, there are a number of different platforms that have the basic open banking capabilities of the data API and the payments API. Those are the basic capabilities that are reflected up from the bank. And if you want to go and build them yourselves, you can. It's exceptionally difficult, and I would suggest that you not do that, but you can do it if you're particularly mad. We really try and differentiate ourselves by adding things to that. So taking the specific example of payments, we were the first company to add a merchant account to open banking payments. So before we did this, if you wanted to operate open banking payments, that PIS payment needed to move from your customer's account to another of your bank accounts as a merchant. When we added a merchant account to that flow, we enabled you to make a payment from the customer's account to a merchant account that belonged to you as a merchant. And we as Truelayer would do all of the reconciliation that you needed to do on receiving that payment, and also enable you to make a payout to the end user that's kind of paid in to you. And that makes open banking payments a step change easier to adopt for a merchant because it operates in a very similar way to payment systems that you're already used to. And our general product strategy is to continue doing that and to continue adding those incremental features that you need to have around open banking to make it work.
Now, an exciting open banking development was in the news earlier this summer, around July, called variable recurring payments. Can you tell me what exactly are variable recurring payments and sweeping?
Yeah, absolutely. So variable recurring payments is the newest feature of open banking, and sweeping is a way to use variable recurring payments. And the news that came out was kind of over the course of the beginning of the year. Truelayer was the first PISP to make an open banking variable recurring payment with NatWest. We were the first PISP to sign what is called a commercial VRP agreement with a bank. And we were the first PISP to put one of our customers, the credit thing, live on variable recurring payments APIs. So what are variable recurring payments? If you're kind of familiar with how bank transfers work, The original Open Banking Payments API, or the core Open Banking Payments API, allows you to make a bank transfer. And that is it. It allows you to make one bank transfer. It's an exceptionally easy way to set it up. It's an exceptionally easy way to manage it, but it's just one bank transfer. With variable recurring payments, you're allowed to make multiple bank transfers as a payment initiator. So as an end user, you give permission to a third party like Truelayer or like one of our customers, and you say, hey, you guys can make as many payments as you wish up to a certain amount on my behalf from my bank. And that enables us to serve a huge number of different new use cases. It enables, subscription payments, it enables variable subscription payments, it enables ad hoc payments, and it also enables the kind of same save debit card like experience for open banking. Now, the moment where sweeping comes along is the regulatory mandate that VRP, variable recurring payments, has been enabled on. So if we look back to the original open banking competition remedy, the CMA did a huge investigation into UK retail banking in the aftermath of the financial crisis, and they found that retail banks in the United Kingdom were continually failing their customers, i.e., all of us, people who live in Britain. And they identified three particular problem areas, and that was competition in current accounts, competition in savings accounts, and competition in overdrafts and unsecured lending. And so they came up with this idea that customers should be able to sweep money between any account that they own that facilitates any of those use cases. So, for example, instead of having a savings account with the same bank that you have your current account with, you could have a better savings account with a higher interest rate at an external provider and automatically sweep money into that account. In the same vein, you could have a bolt-on overdraft with another provider and automatically sweep money into that in order to repay the overdraft and move money in both directions in order to provide you with a better facility. So right now, variable recurring payments is only mandated for this sweeping use case.
And what would you say are some of the key benefits or an especially exciting use case for VRP over COF or direct debit?
So the real benefits I see for variable recurring payments are all around consumer clarity and control. So if Veronica, if I ask you the question, do you know which websites have your card details? Could you answer that question?
I could probably name a few, but I'm afraid not all of them. And that is
Exactly.
something that scares me as a consumer.
Yeah, exactly. And the other question I'd have is, could you name all of the companies that you have a subscription with?
Also, most of them. And that also makes me a little bit embarrassed considering I work at Innovate Finance.
Yeah.
When you're about to tell me the solution.
So, well, I think that what variable recurring payments does is it kind of ends this concept of you have one set of payment credentials, one card, and enables you to have a bespoke consent, a bespoke payment agreement with an individual merchant. So, for example, when you enable a payment to Amazon, Amazon are the only people that could use that payment credential. And if Amazon at some point in the future is compromised, no one can steal that payment credential in order to use it for themselves. And also, when you look in your bank account, you can say, actually, I don't want to make any payments to Amazon anymore. I can revoke just the credential for Amazon. So when you think about subscription management and stored payment consents, it brings a huge amount of control and clarity to a consumer around what you're spending and what you're doing with your money on a daily basis. And that's fantastic for consumers. VRP does also bring a lot of benefits to merchants as well. VRP should be very cost competitive with card payments, will provide higher authorization rates, and provides instant settlement. So instead of a card payment or a direct debit payment settling over 3 to 5 days, a VRP payment settles instantly or along the faster payments timeframes of like up to 2 hours, but effectively instantly. So it's essentially, imagine someone took the best bits of card on file payments and direct debit payments and made them some super payment method that's also clearer for consumers to use.
Exactly. I mean, it sounds like it goes beyond money management and really covers consumer protection, but also subscription management, which is
Mm.
particularly relevant, I think, as we're heading into a bit of a cost of living crisis and an increasingly precarious financial market. And that brings me to my next question. So, what's next for VRP?
So, as I mentioned earlier, one of the restrictions we have is that VRP can only be used in this sweeping use case. And that ties back to the original open banking competition order. Now, if I had to say to you, Veronica, as a consumer, you can use this fantastic new payment method, but you can only use it to make a transfer to your savings account. Does that make sense?
Sounds a bit limiting.
It it's a wider market than you actually expect. So like when the credit market and the unsecured credit market in particular, a number of kind of buy now, pay later propositions and related credit propositions will be in scope of sweeping. So you'll be able to use sweeping for a lot of different things. However, you can't actually use variable recurring payments to pay someone else, which is a massive restriction, and it's quite dumb, in my opinion. It makes sense if you look at the regulatory background, but it's actually quite dumb. So the next big thing in variable recurring payments is what we call commercial VRP. And this takes open banking into the kind of the next arena where third-party providers like Truelayer need to agree a commercial contract with a bank like NatWest that we've already agreed, and hopefully every other bank in the United Kingdom. And this will enable a commercial deal for us to pay a bank in order to open up access to variable recurring payments APIs for every single use case. And we're particularly interested in the work that the Joint Regulatory Oversight Committee, or JROC, is doing as part of their strategic working group, or SWG, which is classic open banking acronym soup. And they are currently working on a payment strategy sprint, which is looking at how we unlock open banking payments in retail environments. So how we enable open banking in e-commerce environments. And I'm really hoping that they will come back with some positive direction around commercial VRP and encourage every bank in the United Kingdom to get on board with the VRP train and start enabling it for businesses and consumers everywhere. Because my vision and my view of what the future of VRP looks like is a world in which everybody is using VRP to pay for their subscriptions and their recurring kind of bills, as well as their kind of card on file consents. But the next 2 years are going to be kind of, I think, quite confusing for end users, because you're going to see a number of propositions proposing people use VRP for repaying unsecured loans and topping up their savings accounts. But you're not going to see propositions outside of that. So people are going to start thinking, why can I use VRP to make a payment to my Plum account, but I can't use VRP to make a payment to my investment account? And resolving this challenge is something that we all need to do for the interests of our mutual consumers.
And are there any success stories that you can share with us to date?
Yeah, I mean, so Truelayer has been, I've been working at Truelayer for a long time. We've won a huge number of awards. I was particularly proud of our Best Innovation in Payments Awards back in 2019 for some of the works we did with Smarkets, I believe it was back then. And we've been nominated for, a number of like Best Places to Work awards. But the thing that I'm always most proud of is the work that we do with customers and the propositions that we take live. So I think my personal 2 highlights over the course of the time I've worked at Truelayer are, firstly, taking Revolut live with open banking payments. And to me, if we wanted to look at like one inflection point for open banking as a whole in the UK, it would be that moment where Revolut started to use open banking payments, and open banking payments really, really, really started to take off and become widely used. And then also on the data side, the work that we did with the Nectar Card reward scheme. And the Nectar Card reward scheme has become one of the most preeminent open banking propositions in the world, where you can gain Nectar points on your spending in a variety of different stores through your banking transaction history. And I'm really proud of seeing both of those things go live. Work with Revolut took about 6 months from inception to go live, and Nectar took 3 to 4 years from inception to go live. And the payoff and the excitement that we all felt when that actually happened was immense. I believe Nectar Card Reward Scheme is the only time that open banking is featured in the UK tabloid press.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my final question. With all of these achievements behind you and a few challenges ahead of you still, what's next for Truelayer? Is there any exciting news on the horizon?
There's always exciting news on the horizon at Truelayer. One of the things that we have talked about that's coming up in the near future that I am super excited about is our partnership with Curve. So we've been working with Curve on a partnership around both our data and our payments and our variable recurring payments API. That is phenomenally exciting, and I hope will change the way that everybody uses the Curve app today. And that will be going live in the next 3 or so months. And I am incredibly excited about getting that live and having variable recurring payments in the hands of more people on a daily basis. The next things that we really have in store are taking live some of our newest innovations in open banking payments. We have a really, really new and exciting innovation that's coming to market in the next 3 or 4 months that I'm incredibly excited about. You should look out for that when it comes out. It's in the kind of onboarding space. And then I'm also really excited to see more of the customers that we've been signing start to go live. And you should start to see news of some really, really exciting new names go live in the next 3 months as well. So that's what I'm excited about in the next few months.
Well, I know that we at Innovate Finance will be paying attention, and I'm sure the rest of our audience will be as well. So thanks for keeping us in suspense on that one. But in the meantime, that is all for this episode today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Please keep an eye out for upcoming episodes and for upcoming news from Truelayer. All of our previous episodes are available on our website, so please take a look at our catalog for many more insights on fintech and financial innovation. Thank you once again to our guest today, Matt Parish, Group Product Manager at Truelayer. And thank you all at home for listening. Join us next time for Coffee with Innovate Finance. Bye for now.